Good morning, Monday, coming in hot. We're coming off a premiere. We're heading into the last week before ASOTUCon. The UAW situation is going forward, kind of, and we got a lot of other things to talk about, too. This feels like a Monday. I feel like we're in the thick of it right from the beginning.
I'm ready to go today. Look, I was geared up this morning. Hit the ground running.
You know, it probably has something to do with the fact that we were together in Atlanta on Friday, Saturday, and on Saturday night in the showroom at Beaver Toyota. Patrick Abad, general manager, turned the whole showroom into a movie theater on a Saturday night.
It was ridiculous. Like, just the energy in that room, turning the whole you got this screen bigger than you've ever seen in the middle of a showroom before. It's ginormous. Look at all the people in this place. It was look at that screen. You can see it on the video. But we turned that place over and then got to share with a bunch of employees and some community members and some
media,
industry partners.
There's a senator there.
Like, everybody kind of came together and we got to share the story with them that they got to share with us and then give it back to them. And this was what was so cool. It was like people kept coming up and saying, thanks for sharing our story in that way. You know, and I think that's important. Like, we're out here just sharing stories that are already happening. It's not like we're ginning this up or trying to create movie magic or anything. All of the stories in More Than Cars are already happening.
Yeah, so if you're not aware of what we're even talking about, More Than Cars is a TV-style docuseries we set out to start to create about 6 months ago. We released the pilot episode about 2 or 3 months ago. This was episode 2, so it was the first episode since the pilot that basically is Kyle and I going around the country to dealers, telling the inspiring stories from real car dealerships, not the stigma stories, the real stories of people's lives being changed. We had a whole lot of fun along the way. And again, our goal is to make something fun to watch, even if you don't love automotive, because we're trying to show everyone how to love automotive the right way.
Absolutely.
And I think it's catching on. I think it's working. You can go to morethancars.tv to see the pilot episode. Do we have a date yet for the release of episode 2?
October 11th, we'll have the event up this week. We'll have the website will be flipped over so you can see it, put it on your schedule, all of that.
All right. Very cool. Also want to talk about, we had a ASOTU Edge webinar. ASOTU Edge is our quick shot webinar format, under 30 minutes. We give you what you need and then get you back to your day with connection, improving your CSI with better visibility on your fleet or shuttle drivers. I'll tell you what, this was one of the most under talked about topics in automotive that makes such a huge impact in a customer's service experience. I'm surprised we don't talk about it more, but we're talking about it on this. What's the best way to get here? So you can see the replay at asotu.com.
Just hit webinars under media. Boom, you're right there.
It's awesome. We had a fun time and we talked about, customer experience, technology, fleet, and one thing that every GM and COO loves to talk about, and that's saving money.
Saving
a lot of money, actually.
Making money. There you go.
Saving money, making money. Hey, ASOTUCon is a week from today. A week from today, we will be setting up the stuff for the welcome reception. There's still time for you to go. It's only in Baltimore, south of Baltimore. Fly to BWI, 5 minutes south. Get yourself a ticket. Come hang out with us for 3 days. We have really some of the most amazing speakers in automotive. If you go to the site and look at our agenda, look at our speakers, you'll be like, I know all these names. I've seen these people on TV or automotive TV. Come hang out with us, especially if you're within driving range. Why wouldn't you be there? You can DM me or Kyle. We have a little, if you're a dealer, we have a big special discount for you, but you have to DM. You have to DM us for it.
Get us a little DM. We're the only Paul J. Daly and Kyle Mounts here on the LinkedIn. So hit us up. That's and true. We'd love to see you there. It's just gonna be full tilt.
All right, now it's time for
UAW update.
Oh, here it comes. All right.
I feel like we should have a day counter at this point. What are we officially day 4? Is this day 4? Day 4, right? Yep. Maybe we'll just add that at the end of everyone. So here is a sentiment communicated by UAW President Shawn Fain on MSNBC's The Sunday Show with Jonathan Capehart. He says, progress is slow. When asked about how things are moving along, he says, I don't really want to say we're closer. But he did kind of say we're closer. But he didn't really want to say it. The UAW resumed talks with GM on Sunday and will do so with Stellantis and Ford today. In a Friday press conference, Fain said the strike could be over in a day. It could be over in a week, right? He's obviously trying to keep his cards close to his chest on this. Also over the weekend, Both GM CEO Mary Barra and Ford CEO Jim Farley, Mary Barra on CNN, Jim Farley on ABC, were both asked how they justify their level of compensation and the increase in their compensation over the years in light of what the union is asking for. And both CEOs in just, I guess, smooth PR trained fashion, stuck to the talking points, diverted the question, and said, Mary Barra was like, my pay is 92% of my compensation package is based on how well the company does. If the company does bad, that doesn't do well and goes away. Yep. But either way, they both really deflected that and said, what we really want to focus on is we're committed to making the most generous offer in history to UAW workers, increasing their benefits. And they stuck to the points, but hey, man, this is when those awkward questions start coming out. And, so I don't know that we have a
Three
lot
other
of
things that I saw this morning. One, Stellantis
Ooh.
has increased their offer to 21%, which
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it is up from 14.5%, the first offer that I saw. So there's obviously
they're in the game.
Its first pencil was it was a little loose, you know what I mean? First pencil had a little bit of room in it, Second thing is I saw the stat where the average UAW worker is like $66 or $68 an hour if you average it out. Whereas
all the benefits and everything.
The average Tesla worker in shops is $45 an hour. So you look at the margins. Basically, the proposed UAW increases would change it over the next 4 years from 66 or 68 to like 145 an hour.
Wow.
So
is that including retirement benefits? It's all that factored in.
It's I don't know exactly what's factored in there, but you got to think about this. And that's what the one thing that I haven't seen brought up is like, there isn't really discussion on the difference between a basic hourly general labor, like right in hourly workers labor and what they're asking for like larger pay or higher or like upper management or anything like that. And I think that may actually move the needle quicker. I am surprised that hasn't come up where, hey, look, we want to see these hourly workers that are making $17, $18, $19 an hour get the pay increases that are necessary. And hey, maybe we'll take a little bit less for some of the higher income earners. I don't know. That might shake the trees.
Unfortunately, that's the hard part about it.
That's the thing in the union.
It's got all or nothing.
Yep.
All or nothing, right? Because there is what's the conversation about the guy we featured last week on the show who's making $17 an hour, and the person in upper management making like $250,000. Right? It's just like I don't know. We just report.
Let's move on.
We just report the news. Oh man, automotive news' coverage has been great on the union. Jamie Butter's actually the editor who's going to be at ASOTU in a week. He wrote a brilliant piece, kind of breaking it down a little bit. He's just so savvy with this stuff. He's been covering it for years. So check it out. Actually, automotive news. I think all three of our stories this morning are for automotive news. So speaking of automotive news,
hey,
Segway. Give them a good shout out. They've been really good to us. The largest auto group in the U.S., you know who it is, Lithia. They continue their expansion with their largest acquisition to date, but it's not in the U.S., and it's not just about dealerships. It's also about software. Lithia Motors intends to purchase Pendragon's dealership and fleet business in the U.K., which includes 160 locations, primarily under the Stratstone or Evans Halshaw branding. So they have a couple brands wrapped up into this group. Here's the interesting part. The deal also includes Pendragon Vehicle Management, which is a fleet management platform with 15 to 20,000 vehicles on it already. And this is the little cherry on top.
This is the big one, right?
And also Pinewood Technologies, a cloud-based DMS, which aims to stand as an independent software entity. So they're going to break that out, take a 16% stake in the DMS, and it has 30,000 global users focusing on leverage its cloud-based tech-savvy software. They plan to introduce this DMS to North America within the next 3 to 5 years. So overall,
if you are a large group and you are not building technology internally, what are you doing? And Lithia just
call somebody this morning. So we'll get you some commentary in just a second. The acquisitions are intended to add about $4.5 billion in annual revenue, bringing so much money, bringing Lithia over $38 billion, which they're getting really close to that $50 billion goal they set by 2020. 25.
No doubt they're gonna hit it. Like, not even a question in my mind at this point.
I'm kind of picturing Brian DeBoer's smile. Like, you know what his smile looks like?
Just that little sly, just that
little sly
little
smile.
bit of sly smile. Yeah,
He's just
this
like-
there's like 2 or 3 pieces of commentary here. One is like, I'm just wondering if someone at Lithia knew someone at Asbury was talking about buying Coons, and they were just like, you know what, we'll just hold off on the PR thing for just a minute, so that it's like Asbury buys Coons, largest transaction ever. Lithia buys, bam. Right. And they just like put it out there. Another $4.5 billion in annual revenue to Lithia. For a lot of people in the US, they don't actually know that groups like Group One, Lithia, and other of the publicly traded groups have actually taken an interest in European dealerships over the last 3 to 5 years. And this is probably the deepest push that we've seen into it. The real mapping here, in my opinion, is the fact that the UK and the US and all of Europe has taken a much more bold approach on the OEM side to distribution and how they actually leverage dealers in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see Lithia taking this as a positioning for any changes that may come down the pipe in the US, and understanding exactly what's going on in Europe, and being able to play in like that game of any level of direct to consumer.
Well, I think based on that too, you think about the agency model conversations that was so hot last ASOTUCon, right? Like a year ago, I mean, this was firing up and everybody was henny penny, right? Hair's on fire, running around. And this just shows that a big, savvy auto group still sees a path to profitability.
Yes.
You know, obviously via scale, but they see a path to profitability in the UK, right? So I think it's an indicator. It's like, hey, there's still money to be made. The dealer network is still an important component, whatever happens, and they're moving on it. But man, let's talk about a DMS, dude.
Well, fleet services and a DMS. Look at these as
integration.
These are both what I would call like parallel verticals to retail automotive. And that's where I think that any dealer group is going to see the most success over the next 5 to 8 years, really, like that midterm horizon.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like, hey, how do I find other retailable verticals with great revenue percentages that are matched to my retail vertical, and lean into that. So it's SaaS, it's fleet, it's local sales, merchandising, EV chargers, things like that. And that's where this, like, for a DMS now to come in that already has 50 plus manufacturer approvals overseas, and they can literally take that to North America and start to copy paste it. And shoot, if that's going to happen, you're going to be in the 267 some odd locations that are already in the US. So all of a sudden you have market viability, you have the ability
go everywhere else. Efficiency of scale, and just straight efficiency. You think that doesn't leverage you to build a great product, especially when you're the one that's like also selling the product for
hopefully it does.
Fully integrated. Hopefully it does. I've got some smart people over there. We're going to have Mike Cavanaugh. Speaking of smart people, we're going to have Mike Cavanaugh, a senior VP at Lithia at ASOTUCon. He's literally flying in to share with us. They're having this big, now I know what the holdup was. They're having this massive international meeting.
Couple things
and
going on.
He was like, I got this international thing going on during ASOTUCon. I'm going to try to make this work. And man, to his credit, he kept his commitment, and he's flying in to do his keynote, meet a few people, spend a morning with us, and then he's going right back, and he's going to be, hanging out with all his new mates, absolutely these guys talking. And it makes sense why he'd be in the middle of the conversation, given his history with, Max Digital and his just understanding of the integration and the tech ecosystem. It is fun to be in the middle of all these moving parts, isn't it?
Man, auto's just fun right now. Auto's just fun.
I don't know. Speaking of fun, not really. I don't know if this is fun or not.
Well, we've been talking a lot about leasing over the last few months at this point, and the Tesla Model 3 has become the first electric vehicle to enter the top 10 lease models in the U.S., according to a new report by Experian. Ranking 7th in Q2, the Model 3 accounted for 1.79% of leased new vehicles.
All leases, yeah.
That's all leases, with approximately 25% of their 42,000 retailed Model 3s being leased. That's a 14 percentage point surge from the previous year. So like Tesla is really pushing in to the leasing model at this point. Here's the top 10 lease vehicles in the U.S. At the top, the Ford F-150 at 2.52%. Going from there is the Honda CR-V, Nissan Rogue, Chevy Silverado 1500, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Chevy Equinox, the Tesla Model 3, Honda Civic, Ram 1500, and Jeep Wrangler. Which, if you look at that list, you see like some of the top retail vehicles overall, but they're also the top leased vehicles. This is huge, though, for an EV to enter into this top leased vehicles. Anecdotally, I saw 3 commercials this morning for EV leases from legacy OEMs while I was running in
that doesn't surprise me.
Period.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I had one of my team members at Congruent here, their car kind of like their frame rusted out on their old Subaru, and they have to get a new car, and they're like, well, what's the cheapest way? And literally I was like, it might be an EV. They're like, are you serious? I was like, yep. And so we did some quick searches and looked at like some Kia products, and we're like, there you go, man. Cause he hardly drives. I'm like, he's like $370 a month, right? For under 10K. I was like, he doesn't drive a lot. There's a charger out front of work. He actually might do it. So when we talk about speeding up adoption, like that is proof in the pudding. Like it makes sense that the Tesla's on there. Over the weekend, we were in Atlanta. I was in this little place called Avalon in Alpharetta, Georgia. And there's a Tesla store there. And there were Teslas everywhere.
I'm sure right there.
Everywhere. And I just couldn't help but like get a little glimpse of like, well, I get maybe it could work. You know,
I mean, in certain market areas, it is already
right
pressing in really
they have
hard.
Charging infrastructure. There's garages and all the little townhouses, and it just makes sense. Hey, we hope you have an amazing day, the beginning of this amazing week. Go on our site, ASOTU.com. Check out the webinar we have. Also, go to ASOTUCon.com. Check it out. Get a ticket and join us.